How to harden wire to make a long wrapped connector bar. Welcome to another episode of Professional Jewelry Making Made Easy. I hope you enjoyed this. Today I'm going to show you how to make this hardened bar out of gold-filled wire and white topaz beads. This method of creating bars using beads works for pretty much any bead. Of course, you're going to be constrained by the hole size, and you want beads with as big of a hole as possible because the thicker the wire, the easier it is. What I've got here is 24 gauge wire because this white topaz, and the same thing with all these other beads, the hole is fairly large. In the case of hand-drilled beads, you might get something that's really tiny, in which case it will be a lot more difficult. But in this case, 24 gauge wire, and it doesn't matter if it's really soft because we're going to harden it and I'm going to show you how. So first we're going to harden the wire, and since I'm only doing a small portion and this is fairly heavy wire, I can actually work harden with a hammer. If it was very fine wire, which I cannot hammer, but I want it hardened, I can actually coil it, put it in a Tupperware and keep shaking. That friction and pounding will work harden your wire significantly, but it is still not going to be as hard as hammering. So that is what I'm going to do. And what I first want to do is take a look at how long I want it. In this case, I want to do about 15 beads like this. And know that to make a wire wrap, it is going to take at least 3/4 of an inch, the way I do it with 3 coils. And I don't want to work harden that section because it just makes it a lot harder, especially if I'm going to really pound it so that it becomes very hard and stiff. So how I do that is I take a little bit like this and tap. You will find that just that little bit of tapping you can notice the difference. It already gets harder. And what I want to do is just keep tapping as I roll it. You don't want to pound and flatten it. You can, but I find that it becomes harder to put into the bead. And just, you can roll it so it ends up staying as round. And see, that is very soft, and I'm bending and it stays stiff. So basically that's all it is. That's all that it takes for you to harden something and make it stiffer. I can continue on. Eventually, if I kept doing this over and over again, eventually it become really hard, and I think the stress in the future could break it. So I don't need to go down, and it would take a lot before that happens, but I don't need to do that. And it's okay that it is straight, because what you want to do is, when you're finished, bend it, form it to the curvature of the wrist or the neck. You might want it really straight, or you might just want a gentle curve. So leave it straight, and it's okay if it's somewhat crookedy. You don't have to worry about that until later. So now I thread the beads. And you want the tip to be straight. So there we have it. And then we're going to wire wrap. This part is softer than this part. And basically I start around here like this. And while you can still do all of that, if it's hardened, it just makes it a little bit harder. So I do this and I wrap a circle like this. And just makes it a little bit stiffer if I've hammered that part by accident. See this? And I push it this way. It's like that. And I just leave that part. Because I'm going to tuck it in afterwards. And I start this way. You'll see what I've done is I've left enough space here for 2 coils. When I do this, I straighten it out like that. And then I hold on to like this. Now, you do not want this part to be overly tight because as you bend, right now it's stiff and it's perfect. When you bend, there's going to be tension. So you don't want it to be too tight. When you look at this side, you see this has 3 coils. That's perfect. And then we trim. And when we trim, we want to trim on the side. So this is the side, this is the front. Because you're going to hold it like this. You're going to attach it like this. You want it so that it's not as recognizable. So this. And then you want a very tiny pair of pliers like that could just tuck it in. So it looks like this. Okay. And then on this side, what you want to do is you want to twist it so that both are facing the same way, both loops facing the same way. And now when you push this, it tightens this end. So now you see there are 3. There are 3 up top. What you want to do is, so now you have the bar like this. And depending on what you're going to do, if you are welding like this, or you like to weld your chain like this, or loop up against the chain, you can bend it accordingly. The other thing is, if I was not welding and I wanted to have the chain inside, so for example, if I didn't use this and I want it just right in there, before I close the loop, all I had to do was slip that chain in and then close the loop. And you can trim thereafter. That is only if I know exactly what I want to do, as opposed to pre-making these and for people to choose the chain later. What we're going to do now is I want a chain that goes on this way. So I'm going to bend it this way, like this. Notice that it's smooth, it's tight, the beads are not shifting, but it is not so hard that eventually some of the beads will crack and break. So that's all that it takes. And this is what the finished white topaz beaded bar looks like. And here it is modeled with stacking bracelets. I hope you enjoyed that. Stones and findings is a wholesaler of premium quality chains and findings. I'm going to leave more information below about our company and what you have seen in this video.